Welcome to the Northern Light Webcasting Network. We bring you Western Wisconsin sports via the internet. Stick around and get to know us.
Northern Light Webcasting Network, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pregame. A look at today's Colfax Viking girls game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening and welcome to Colfax High School, where tonight the Vikings, coming off a lopsided 72-32 victory over Plum City Elmwood, will take on the 3-2 Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Rick Olson here, and soon I'll be joined by Dan Petschow as we're getting ready to bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's Dunn St. Croix Conference game right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Glenwood City Hilltoppers and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Doucette's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, we'll bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So pack your superstitions away, because even though it's Friday the 13th, it's time to get ready to listen to some exciting high school girls basketball. And all that's coming up right after this brief timeout. You're listening to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Rick Olson back here at Colfax High School, where Dan Petschow and I are getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's girls basketball game between the Glenwood City Hilltoppers with a record of 3 wins and 2 losses and the 4-1 Colfax Vikings. The Vikings have a 2-0 record in the Dunn St. Croix Conference and are trying to maintain their first place conference position. Last Tuesday, the Vikings quickly dispatched with the Plum City Elmwood Wolves by a score of 72-32. The Wolves ran into a Viking team that was ready to put some points on the board. Leading the way in scoring for the Vikings that night was senior forward Taylor Irwin, who went 6 for 12 from the floor, including 2 3-pointers for 14 points. Following Irwin was Camry Meredith, who scored 12, Rachel Charlo, who tallied 11, and Josie Steinke, who added 9. At 5 games into the season, the leading scorers for the Vikings are Meredith with 81 points, Charlo with 69, Taylor Irwin with 41, Madison Barstad has 22, and Addison Olson has 18. Glenwood City comes into tonight's game with an overall record of 3 wins and 2 losses and are 1-1 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, following their 39-36 victory over the Boyceville Bulldogs last Tuesday. Leading the way for the Hilltoppers in that game was 5'5" junior forward Yasmin Mendez, who scored 14 points. She was followed in scoring by 5'8" point guard Delaney Fairweather, who tallied 10 points. The Hilltoppers started their 2019-2020 campaign with a 49-24 victory over Cumberland. Since then, Glenwood City has alternated wins and losses, with losses to Prescott and Durand and wins over Ellsworth and Boyceville. If that pattern continues, it could be a rough night for the Hilltoppers. The Vikings are looking to put away any superstitious thoughts about Friday the 13th and continue their domination of the Dunn St. Croix Conference. On the other hand, the Hilltoppers would like to pull even with the Vikings in the conference standings, and a victory for them tonight would do just that. So the stage is set for some pretty exciting high school girls basketball, and we'll have it all for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. But first, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Joe Doucette on Coach's Corner. You're listening to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Today we're talking with Viking girls head coach Joe Doucette. And Coach, tonight the Vikings are getting ready to continue their march through the Dunn St. Croix Conference when they take on the 3-2 Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Now back on Tuesday, the Vikings dominated Plum City Elmwood 72-32, and sometimes after a game like that, teams can relax and possibly take their next opponent a little too lightly. Do you have any concerns that this might possibly happen, especially since it's Friday the 13th?
Oh man, yeah, you never know. You hope that your leadership and everything takes over, but we've talked all year. We got such a veteran crew, and they've been through a lot of things. So I'm not too worried. I think that we'll come out and and play hard.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Hilltoppers come into this game with a 3-2 record. What can you tell us about Glenwood City, and what special challenges do they present?
Well, I tell you what, they've had a good program over the years, and Coach Fairweather does a really good job. His daughter is one of their cornerstones, and they got a very athletic front court led by a Maddie Oki, and they're playing well. So I think we need to just get after them right away and try to take away a little bit of their confidence coming in and get off to a good start.
Now, are there any updates on the injury or illness front going into tonight's game?
Well, Miss Morgan is she's back in school. Today's her first day back in school, and she's chomping, ready to play. So, we're kind of waiting on the doctor, but as of right now, she's going to be in there and ready to go.
Well, that's a big plus for the Vikings.
Yeah, she's a great kid and one of our leaders, one of our veterans. She's been all conference. She's been our top defender, and she's someone we really need.
Well, Coach Doucette, good luck on tonight's game. Let's take those Friday the 13th superstitions and pack them away in a closet somewhere, and maybe the Vikings will find a way to bump their Dunn St. Croix Conference record up to 3-0.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Did you know that some vaccines prevent cancer? I'm Dr. Bill Schaffner of the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases, and I want to talk to you about a vaccine that protects against the most common cause of liver cancer, the hepatitis B vaccine. Hepatitis B virus can stay silent in the body for decades before symptoms develop. Many adults need vaccination, including those up to age 59 with diabetes. To learn more, visit adultvaccination.org. That's adultvaccination.org.
You've been listening to Viking Pregame, with a look at today's Colfax Viking girls game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball.
Hi, I'm Amanda Pete. Like all new parents, my husband and I want what's best for our baby. When it was time for our daughter's immunizations, we wanted the facts. So we carefully researched vaccines. We spoke with doctors and other experts and asked some tough questions. We decided that vaccines were the best thing for our child. I urge you to get the facts. Learn the facts about vaccines so you can make the best healthcare decisions for your family. Thank you.
A message from the American Academy of Pediatrics and vaccinateyourbaby.org.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. 1, okay, cool guy. 2, 3 times. Next, oh, I put it in reverse. Meep, meep, meep. Then I take it up and down, up and down. And that, kiddos, is called the forklift.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now that's dancing. Sure beats flossing.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Colfax Viking basketball is on the air. The Northern Light Broadcasting Network, in conjunction with Colfax High School, proudly presents today's girls Colfax Viking game. Join us as the 2019-2020 Vikings strive for success in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. And now back out for coverage of today's girls Colfax Vikings game.
What's so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose crushed rise and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran there, the monks were singing. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, good evening and welcome back out here to Colfax High School, where tonight the Colfax Vikings are taking on the Hilltoppers from Glenwood City, and we're about to get the starting lineups from Mike Hodell down at the scorer's table, and so we will take a listen to that as he's going to give them to us.
Introducing the starters for the visiting Hilltoppers. A junior, number 4, Isabella Rosbach. A junior, number 5, Madeline Elke. A junior, number 14, Yasmin Leandro Mendez. A junior, number 34, Delaney Fayweather. And a senior, number 50, Micaiah Schutz. The Hilltoppers are led by head coach Dean Fayweather. And now the starting lineup for your Colfax Vikings.
Well, Dan, I'll tell you what, it's really nice to see Morgan Schleisner out there getting ready to play. She was a little under the weather on Tuesday night when we did that game, but she's ready to go tonight, and that'll be a big help for the Vikings as they get ready for tonight's game.
Yeah, she's one of their main point guards bringing up the ball, and that should help get the offense set up tonight.
The Hilltoppers are out on the floor waiting, and here come the Vikings. Rachel Charlo to jump center for the Vikings. And Maddie Elke to jump for the Hilltoppers. 18 minutes on the clock for the first half. Official gets his last words in at the scorer's table, and we're just about ready to get started. Referee steps into the circle, tosses it up, and the ball gets picked up by Schleisner, takes it down under the hoop and feeds it out to the outside to Bovey and puts it up and in. Three-pointer for Jana Bovey to start things off for the Vikings. Coming back down the floor is Elke for the Hilltoppers. She feeds it out high to Fairweather. And it's over to Rosbach. Rosbach between the circles. Off to the side to Elke. Elke puts the shot up, no good. Rebound being fought for, and coming away with it are the Hilltoppers, and putting it up and in is Schultz. 3-2, Vikings on top in the early going in this one. Schleissner feeds it off to, well, now they get it underneath, and the ball gets knocked loose, and away come the Hilltoppers. Rosbach has it between the circles, tries to feed it over to Fairweather, almost stolen by Schleissner. Ball gets passed, and taking it into the lane is Rosbach, and she gets fouled on her way in.
Looks like the foul's on 22, Josie Steinke.
That's her first personal and first team foul. First shot is up and no good. Rosbach with her second shot. It's on the way, and it's an air ball, and so the Vikings will take it out of bounds. Meredith to inbound it to Schleissner. And she brings it across the timeline on the left side, now takes it between the circles. Over to Meredith, down to Steinke, into the lane to Charlo. Charlo turnaround, puts it up and in. Rachel Charlo with a basket in the paint. Vikings putting a little bit of pressure now, and the ball gets stolen, and we have a travel being called. The ball was stolen by Meredith, but she evidently took an extra step in the process. No, they're saying that Glenwood City traveled with it, so the Vikings get the ball out of bounds. Schleissner with it across the timeline. Over to the right side to Bovey, to Meredith from the left arc, and puts it no good. Rebound goes out of bounds, and officials had a little bit of confusion about it, but it's going to the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Vikings with full court pressure on right now, and a lot of pressure, and Schleissner ties up Mendez.
More for full court pressure by Colfax right now.
Possession arrow is in favor of the Hilltoppers, so they get it, but Schleissner ties it up again. Schleissner forces another jump ball. This time she tied up Fairweather, and this time the Vikings get the ball. So Schleissner has it in the center circle. Stops between the circles, gets it over to the right side, now into the lane to Charlo, puts up a shot, no good. Rebound, chased down by the Hilltoppers. Pass coming out, they lose control, and the Vikings get the ball.
Good pressure by number 14, Camry Meredith, to create a turnover.
Bovey inbounds it to Schleissner. Setting up between the circles, over to Bovey on the right. Underneath to Charlo, back out high to Schleissner. She drives into the lane, kicks it out to Charlo. And to Bovey, it was a little bit too high for her, picked up by the Hilltoppers. They lay it up, no. Second shot is up and in, that was by Elke. Quickly down the floor come the Vikings. 5-4, Vikings on top. Pass into the lane to Charlo. Out to Schleissner, puts up a shot, no good. Rebound. It was picked up by the Hilltoppers. Charlo grabbed a hold of it, but I think she committed a foul in the process. And she did. That'll be the second team foul on the Vikings. First one on Charlo. Hilltoppers have it. Fairweather tries to get it over to Elke, and she can't. Gets it to, and the Vikings steal it. Get it to Schleissner, who lays it in. And we have a whistle and a foul as the Hilltoppers trying to bring it down against the heavy pressure that the Vikings are putting on. But we have a foul being called against Meredith. It's her first personal, third team foul against the Vikings. And the Hilltoppers have it. Fairweather with it. She's double teamed, just short of the timeline. Finally gets it over to Elke. Now down low, putting it up and in is Schultz. And the Vikings have it, gets it out to Steinke, and she puts up a three that goes off the iron. Taken down by Mendez. Mendez brings it down for the Hilltoppers. Her pass gets stolen by Meredith. Meredith quickly across the timeline. 3-on-1. Meredith puts it up, and it does not go down, but there's a whistle and a foul. Meredith's going to the line for two.
Good job by Meredith to create the contact and get 2 free throws.
And that foul is on Fairweather. It's her first personal, first team foul against the Hilltoppers. Meredith's first shot is good. 3 people into the lineup for the Vikings. Taylor Irwin, Addie Olson, and Maddie Barstead. Meredith's second shot is nothing but net. Vikings are on top 9-6. Quickly down the floor come the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. They try to feed it down into the corner, and the ball gets knocked out of bounds by Barstead. So the Hilltoppers will maintain possession in the forecourt. Fairweather to inbound it. She gets it into Mendez. Mendez tries to feed it into the lane, and it gets taken away. But the pass intended for Barstead is a little bit errant, and the Hilltoppers recover it, and they have it. It's Ullum with it now for the Hilltoppers. Feeds it off to Elke. Elke coming around the left side, feeds it down into the lane. Try from the baseline is no good by Schultz. Back out high to Ullum, and her shot is no good from the top of the key. Meredith quickly down the floor for the Vikings. Leaves it for Barstead. Gives it to Charlo, who drives into the lane and puts it in. Vikings on top 11-6, 13:42 remaining.
Good drive down the paint for Rachel Charlo to get 2 points.
And we have a whistle, and the ball goes out of bounds. It's going to be Vikings ball.
More pressure by Colfax. Creates another turnover.
Irwin to inbound it to Addie. Addie brings it through the center circle, feeds it off to the left side to Meredith. Meredith drives down to the baseline, puts it up and in. 13-6, Vikings up by 7, 13:24 remaining. Down comes Elke with it. Elke takes it down the left side, feeds it down underneath. Shot goes up, no good. Rebound, try for the putback, no good. That was Mendez on both of those, and we have a foul underneath. And that foul is on Maddie Barstead. It's her first personal, 4th team foul on the Vikings. Mendez at the line. First shot is up. Bounces off the front of the iron and off. Second shot is up and off. And quickly down the floor come the Vikings. Barstead with it on the right side. Gets it out high to Irwin. 3-pointer on the way. Off the back of the iron. No good. Rebound taken down by Mendez for Glenwood City. She gets it off. Or it's Mendez with the ball right now. Coming down the floor. Or check that. That was Fairweather. Now to Elke. Underneath to Schultz. And we have a whistle, and a foul is going to be called, I believe, against Meredith. Reaching for the ball, and got a little bit of contact on Glenwood City coming through. That's the second personal on Meredith. 5th team foul on the Vikings. Inbound pass comes out high to Schultz. She gets it to Ullum. Out to Fairweather. To Schultz at the top of the key. Gets it to Mendez on the right side. Tries to pass it back out to Fairweather and doesn't make connection. Ball goes out of bounds, and the Vikings have it. They'll inbound it from the left side. Coming across the timeline is Addie Olson. She stops between the circles, feeds it off to the left to Meredith. Into the lane to Charlo. Charlo with the shot up off the glass. No good. Rebound knocked around out of bounds. And it goes over to Glenwood City.
More full-court pressure by Colfax.
Long pass down the court to Mendez, and she tries to put a shot up, and she gets fouled by Barstead. Actually, probably a pretty smart foul by Barstead. Otherwise, it was an easy lay-in. Boy, that looked like Aaron Rodgers on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that was a long pass. Right on the money,
and
too.
She put it right in the hands. Mendez with her first shot is up, and it's in. 13-7. 3 more Vikings into the lineup. Addison Olson and Marissa Harmon and Seville Wilson all into the lineup. Second shot is up, off the iron, no good. Rebound taken down by Harmon. Harmon quickly down the floor over to Addison. Addison drives it into the lane, puts it up. No, but she gets fouled on the way to the hole. So Addison Olson goes to the line to shoot 2. That foul, by the way, was called on Schultz. It's her first, second team foul. Addison's shot is up and in. And now she's going to take her second shot. It's on the way, and it rattles home. 15-7, Vikings up on top. 12:03 to go. And Glenwood City thought they had traveled. Ball gets taken away by Irwin, tries to pass it to Addie Olson. Gets knocked out of bounds. Evidently, Addie's the last one who touched it, so Glenwood City is going to have it out of bounds. Well, now he's switching the call, and he's saying it's Viking ball. That's the way I saw it, too. I thought Glenwood City was the last team to touch it.
Yep, I did, too.
Addison inbounds it to Seville Wilson. Out high to Irwin. Over to Addie. Back to Addison on the right. To Addie out between the circles to Harmon, and puts up a long 3. It's no good. Glenwood City coming down the floor with it. Rosbach with it. She feeds it off to the right side to Fairweather. Fairweather to Schultz. Schultz tries to drive into the lane, puts a shot up, no good. Rebound taken down by Wilson. Over to Addie. Addie quickly down the floor for the Vikings. Feeds it over to Addison. We have a double dribble being called against Addie on that. She couldn't quite find the handle as she was trying to make the pass and put it back on the floor, and that's a double dribble. And we have a timeout on the floor. Score Vikings 15, Glenwood City Hilltoppers 7, 11-17 to go in the first half. You're listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
What makes Hometown Pharmacy different than the big chains? People. When you walk into Hometown Pharmacy, you'll see friends and neighbors on both sides of the counter.
We come to Hometown Pharmacy because they are also very knowledgeable and helpful.
We may not be on every corner, but chances are we're in your hometown, or we'll be there shortly. And we care about you. Hometown Pharmacy, our family caring for your family.
Stop by Colfax Hometown Pharmacy in downtown Colfax. And we're back here at Colfax High School on a snowy Friday the 13th evening. Maybe that was our bad luck, as we had a little bit of slick roads to deal with coming into the game tonight, but so far, it's been good luck for the Vikings. They're up on top 15-7.
And a full moon.
That's right. It's a full moon as well. So, holy cow. Maybe one's canceling the other out.
Right, right.
We'll go with that.
Watch out for black cats, too.
All right, Hilltoppers to inbound the ball. Fairweather gets it in to Elke, and the pass gets stolen by Irwin. She lays it up and in for the Vikings. 17-7, Vikings on top. Still putting some token pressure on. Fairweather has it between the circles. Feeds it over to Rosbach. Rosbach into the lane to Schultz. Schultz puts up a shot, no good. Addison with the rebound. Gives it to Addie. She comes down the floor. She's on the right side. Feeds it back out to Addison. Addison out at the right arc. Gets it out to Irwin. Irwin expected somebody to the outside, but Harmon got out there before it got out of bounds. Gets it over to Addie between the circles. Harmon has it on the left. To Irwin, to Addie, to Harmon. Back out to Addie, to Addison. Cross-court pass to Harmon. Harmon puts up a 3, and it's off the iron, no good. Battling for the rebound underneath, comes away with it is Fairweather, and down the floor come Glenwood City. Fairweather with it across the timeline to Elke. Elke drives into the lane, puts it up, and we have a whistle and a foul. The shot was no good. Elke goes to the line. And the foul is on Irwin. That's her first personal. That's the 7th team foul. Her first shot is good. That's Elke's first shot. 3 points for Elke so far tonight. And her second shot is on the way, off the front of the iron, and ball gets chased down by Steinke. Schleissner with it, coming down the floor for the Vikings. Feeds it over to Meredith. Out to Steinke. Steinke with a three, puts it up and in.
Good ball movement by Colfax.
From the right side, three-pointer for Steinke. Elke with it, gets it across the timeline to Rosbach. She takes it down the left side, tries the baseline, and a whistle and a foul. And they're going to get Charlo with a block. That's Charlo's second personal. First shot is up and no good. Rosbach at the line. Putting up her second shot. It's on the way, and it's good. 20-9, Vikings on top. 9:45 to go in the first half. Schleissner with it. Over to Bovey. Back out to Schleissner. Puts it up, no good. Rebound chased down by Meredith. Meredith takes it out. Cross-court pass to Steinke. Steinke puts up a long three off the iron, no good. Charlo with the rebound. It goes in. Count the shot, whistle, and a foul.
Good rebound by Charlo to get the little jump hook and the and one.
Schultz got called for the personal. That's her second. And Charlo makes the three-pointer. Glenwood City with it, down the floor. Gets it out high to Rosbach. Rosbach takes it around to the right side to Elke. Elke out high to Mendez. Mendez loses the handle on it. Scrum on the floor, and
got a foul on number 14.
That's Mendez getting called for a foul for Glenwood City. It's her first personal, fourth team foul. Substitution for Glenwood City. Thompson comes in for Schultz. Schleissner brings it across the timeline, stops at the top of the key, puts up a three, around the rim and off, no good. Rebound fought for down underneath, and coming away with it is Rosbach. Rosbach to Fairweather, back over to Rosbach on the right side, high, wide, and right. Gets it over to Thompson on the left. Feeds it into the lane to Elke, who bangs it off the glass and in. 23-11, Vikings have the lead, 8:38 to go in the first half. Steinke with it on the left side. Down to Charlo, feeds it out high to Schleissner. To Meredith at the baseline. Tries to get it to Steinke, and we have a whistle out of bounds, and last touched by Glenwood City. Bovey to inbound it for the Vikings. Gets it to Schleissner. Takes it between the circles over to the right side to Steinke. Back to Schleissner. Over on the left now to Bovey. Feeds it to Meredith, who tries to drive the lane. Kicks it back out to Bovey. Bovey drives the baseline, puts it up. No good. Rebound taken down by Glenwood City.
Good defense by Glenwood City to create a turnover here.
Rosbach with it between the circles as she tries to drive down the left side. Gets it to Mendez. Out to Fairweather. Fairweather still on the left side. They're playing outside the perimeter. To Thompson. Back over to Mendez on the right. Down low to Fairweather. Turnaround jumper by Elke is no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Meredith with it. Gets it over to Charlo, who puts up a 12-footer and hits it. Rachel Charlo makes it 25-11. Vikings on top. That's 9 points for Charlo in this first half. Glenwood City has it. Give to Fairweather, tries to drive into the lane, and she doesn't get it to go. Ball gets tipped around. Another shot goes up and is no good. That was by Rosbach, and the Vikings bring it down the floor. Feed down underneath to Charlo. Gets it to Meredith, puts it up, and it rolls in.
Good ball movement by Colfax.
Camry Meredith gets a steal right away, turns around, puts it up. No. Rebound being chased down. And we got a foul. I believe it's going to be on Steinke for the Vikings. with a little bit of a grab as they were going for a loose ball.
Colfax is still keeping the pressure on with 6:51 left.
That's right. It's foul was on Steinke. It's their second personal, the 9th team foul. So at the line is Rosbach for 1-1. First shot is up off the iron, and the Vikings almost gave up the rebound, but Glenwood City wasn't ready for it either, and now the Vikings have it. Coming down the floor is Barstead, feeds it down into the corner to Bovey, puts up a shot, no good. Check that was Irwin down in that corner. To Barstead, out high to Addy. Addy feeds it in the lane to Meredith. Meredith with a turnaround lay-in. 29-11, Vikings on top. Glenwood City with it. This is Thompson, or no, it's Ullum. Feeds over, that's Thompson with it. Thompson takes it down on the right side, gets it back out to Ullum. Ullum over to Thompson. Thompson feeds it to Rosbach. Out high to Thompson. Thompson tries to drive the lane, cannot get there. Ball taken away by Addy. Gets it to Charlo. Charlo to Barstead. Barstead at the arc. Gets it out high to Irwin, to Addy on the left side. Feeds it underneath to Meredith, who puts it up and in. Camry Meredith making her presence known underneath. That's 10 points for Meredith. Glenwood City quickly down the floor. Thompson with it with a shot, no good. Meredith with the rebound. Quickly down the floor comes Meredith, and we have a whistle and a foul, and that's going to be on Thompson of Glenwood City. 5th team foul. I believe that's her first. Yes, her first personal. And Schultz is back into the lineup. Or no, that's Fairweather back into the lineup for Thompson. Vikings to inbound it. Irwin inbounds it to Addy. Takes it down the right side. Out to the top of the key to Meredith. Puts up a shot, no good. Rebound being taken down by Glenwood City. This is Fairweather with it. Feeds it off to the right side to Elke. Now to Rosbach, to Fairweather. Fairweather on the right. Now she's getting back out between the circles. To Elke, to Rosbach, to Ullum. And now Mendez has it on the right side. Being guarded very closely by Barstead and turns the ball over to Meredith, who gets it to Addy, who comes quickly down the floor for the Vikings. Gets it out to Barstead, puts up a long three. She missed it, but Irwin with the putback. No, it does not go. And Ullum with it, but ball's taken away by the Vikings, fed to Meredith, who puts it up off the glass and in. 33-11, Vikings on top. Camry Meredith with 12. Irwin just about had the steal as Glenwood City brings it across the timeline. It's Ullum with it. Feeds it into Fairweather, out to Mendez. She's double teamed. Gets it out to Fairweather, puts up a shot, no good. Rebound taken down by Addy. Addy quickly down to Charlo. Charlo feeds it into the lane to Barstead, and we have a whistle and a foul. I believe it's going to be on Ullum. It's going to be the 6th team foul. Yeah, it's on Ullum. It's her first personal. 6th team foul. Addison into the lineup. As is, well, we have a timeout on the floor. Timeout on the floor. Score 33-11. Vikings leading. You're listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
And we're back here at Colfax High School. Vikings to inbound it. Addison to get it in. And she gets it out to Addie outside the arc. Feeds it to Wilson in the lane. Out to Irwin at the top of the key. Over to Addison on the right. To Wilson. Back to Addison. Takes a step inside the arc to Wilson. From the baseline, puts it up. No good. Rebound taken down by Glenwood City. 3:35 to go in the first half. Ullum with it on the left side for Glenwood City. She's got it between the circles now. Still with her dribble, out high. On the right side, feeds it down to Rosbach. Rosbach back out to Ullum. Ullum still working the right side. Guarded pretty closely there by Charlo, who comes away with the ball. Gets it to Addie, she brings it down the floor. Out to Charlo. Charlo to Addison, outside the arc. Feeds it into the lane to Wilson. Wilson puts the shot up and in. Seville Wilson with her first 2 points of the night. 35-11, Vikings on top, 2:45 to go in the first half. Glenwood City's Rosbach has it on the left side. Gets it to Ullum. She takes it back out between the circles. Now she comes down the right side. Goes to the baseline, puts up a shot, taken down by Rosbach. To Addie. Down the floor come the Vikings. Irwin with it. Puts up a shot from the corner, no good. Rebound, tied up underneath, and we have a jump ball call. It was Seville Wilson, and I think it was Elke that tied her up on that rebound, and the possession arrow is in favor of Glenwood City. Rosbach to bring it down the floor. Addison picks her up still in the backcourt. Elke with it. Gets it down low to Schultz. Schultz puts a shot up, no good. Rebound tapped around and saved in by Wilson.
Good save by Wilson.
She's got it to Addison. Feeds it down to Irwin. Drives the baseline. Turns around, puts it up off the iron. No good. Schultz with the rebound. Fairweather comes away with it. Gets it to Rosbach, who comes across the timeline for Glenwood City. She feeds it out high to Schultz. Schultz to Mendez at the top of the key. Guarded by Addison. Charlo tips it away, but it's picked up by Schultz. Schultz gets it into the lane to Elke. Feeds it back out to Schultz. To Mendez. Mendez gets it over to Schultz. Schultz tries to get it to Rosbach. It's tapped by Irwin, but Rosbach picks up the loose change. Elke with it over to Schultz. Schultz tries to drive into the lane, tries to pass it down low. The ball gets tied up underneath, and we have a jump ball being called. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Addie with it, inbounds it to Irwin, right back to Addie as she brings it down the floor. Just over a minute to go in the first half. Addison with it on the right side. Out high to Seville. Seville stops at the top of the key. Gets it over to Addie on the left. Feeds it down low to Charlo. Out high to Irwin. Irwin's three-pointer's on the way and good. 38-11, Vikings on top. Under a minute to go. Fairweather with it. Passes it into the forecourt to Schultz. Schultz takes it out between the circles. Over to Strong. Strong gets it to Mendez. Over to Elke. Back out to Strong. To Schultz. To Mendez. Mendez drives the baseline. Tries to put it up. Can't do it. And she was triple teamed down there and tries to go up with it. Wilson knocks it out of bounds. So Glenwood City keeps possession. Almost 17 seconds to go in the first half. Substitution for the Vikings. Marissa Harmon into the lineup, replacing Rachel Charlo. Quickly inbounding it to Schultz, puts up a shot, no good. Wilson with the rebound, Addie with it, under 10 seconds, feeds it over to Harmon. Addison with it, top of the key, Three-pointer, and she hit the three-pointer. 41-11 as Addison Olsen hits the three-pointer to bring the first half to a close. Vikings on top of the Glenwood City Hilltoppers, and we will have Viking halftime coming up in just about a minute. You're listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network has a special Christmas treat for our listeners. We are going to present our holiday special on Monday, December 23rd and Tuesday, December 24th. Starting at noon on each day, we'll present a triple header of Colfax Vikings games. We'll have football, girls basketball, and boys basketball with a lot of holiday music throughout. Tune your listening device to www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com to listen to our holiday special beginning at noon on December 23rd and 24th, and have a very happy holiday season.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Josie Steinke, a senior at Colfax High School, and we're going to be chatting with Josie right after this brief timeout.
We are the boy band. Your tween made you see. We are the boy band. It's painful concert number 3. We are the boy band. We're 5 and 19. We are the boy band. Always singing on key.
You love your kids enough to take them to see their favorite band. Love them enough to make sure they're buckled up in the back seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're talking right now with Josie Steinke on Viking Profile. And Josie, we know you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
I'm in like student council and FBLA and other clubs like that.
Now, when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of experience have you had doing that?
I started in 2nd grade and played up with the 3rd graders because I was really tall, and it's been really fun playing with all my friends throughout the years.
What's the most important thing you've learned in playing basketball?
I think teamwork, because we have to work together really hard and stay as one.
So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that you're interested in that keep you occupied?
I hang out with my friends a lot, go shopping and stuff. I watch a lot of Netflix, and yeah, hang out with my family.
All right, here's a few rapid fire questions. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Ooh, cookies.
Any particular kind?
Chocolate chip.
Homemade or store-bought?
Homemade, but depends on who makes them.
Okay. Do you like the soft ones or the hard ones?
Soft ones, definitely.
Okay. I expect about a dozen from you sometime during the season.
Right, yeah.
Ford, Chevy, or other brand?
Oh, gosh. I don't really care.
Okay, as long as it's got wheels and they go around.
Yes.
Your favorite NBA or WNBA team?
I don't know.
It's okay.
Lakers? I don't know.
The Lakers? All right. Just because that's the one that popped in your head. Okay. Your favorite college basketball team?
Wisconsin Badgers.
Okay. We're talking with Josie Steinke on Viking Profile. And Josie, what are your plans for after high school?
I am going to UW La Crosse to study elementary education.
How about a shout out to your family?
Thanks for coming.
When people come to Viking games, what number are you going to be wearing, and what position do you play?
22 and forward.
And we want to thank Josie Steinke for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next is more of Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me, I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Time for the Colfax High School Report with an update on what's happening at Colfax High School.
Last week at Colfax High School, the boys and girls varsity basketball teams got back into full swing following the Thanksgiving holiday break. On Tuesday, December 3rd, the Viking boys defeated the Amory Warriors 56-29. Then last Saturday at UW Stout in the Northwest Tip-Off Classic, the Viking boys took on Chippewa Falls McDonald Max, where they defeated the Vikings in a close, hard-fought game, 38-36. On Thursday, December 5th, the Viking girls defeated Elk Mound in a close game by the score of 49-38. The 8th grade boys played at Spring Valley on Tuesday, December 3rd, where they were defeated 46-22, and then on Thursday, December 5th, the 8th graders knocked off Bloomer 43-17. On Saturday, the Viking dance team was a participant in the Menominee Holiday Classic. Last Wednesday, the American Red Cross held a blood drive at Colfax. The Viking girls have 2 games next week. On Monday, December 16th, the girls travel to Hayward to take on the Hurricanes. We will not be at that game, but on Thursday, the girls host the Mondovi Buffaloes. In both games, JV gets underway at 5:45 and the varsity at 7:15. We will have all the varsity action of Thursday's game right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. The Viking boys also have 2 games next week. On Tuesday, the boys will host the Thorpe Cardinals. JV gets underway at 5:45 with the varsity starting at 7:15. We will have all the varsity action of that game right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Then on Friday the 20th, the boys will travel to Plum City to take on Elmwood Plum City. And that's what's been happening at Colfax High School. This has been Rick Olson reporting.
You've been listening to the Colfax High School Report with an update on what's happening at Colfax High School. The second half of Colfax Viking basketball is coming up.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
And we're back here at Colfax High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow, and it's halftime. And the Vikings have a 41-11 lead over the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Dan, tell us about the numbers.
Yeah, here's our leading scorer tonight, right now for Colfax. Kimry Meredith is leading the team with 12 points. Rachel Charlo has 9 points. And then we have Jana Bovey with 3, Addison Olson's got 5. Jana Bovey's got 3. Josie Stanky's got 3. Seville Wilson has 2. Morgan Schleichner has 2. For Glenwood City Hilltoppers, their leading scorer right now is number 5, Maddie Elke with 5 points. Micaiah Schutz has 4 points. And we have Isabella Rosbeck with 1. And Yasmin Mendez with 1. So right now the score 41-11 Colfax.
Well, something tells me that if it keeps going like this, we're going to have running clock through most of the second half.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are going to get a lot of people some playing time today.
Colfax has kept full court press, played great defense, and created a bunch of turnovers that led to some points here.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's just about the end of halftime, so you're listening to Viking Halftime here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. We'll be back with second half action right after this timeout.
As you check names off your holiday gift-giving list, Dairy State Bank encourages you to go local. When you support locally owned and operated businesses, every dollar you spend returns threefold to your local economy, putting your hard-earned money to work in the community you call home. So this holiday season, consider gifting locally crafted goods or an experience at a local eatery, craft beverage maker, or a performance with family and friends. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Dairy State Bank.
And we're back here getting ready for the teams to come out on the floor. And they are doing exactly that. Glenwood City will have the ball to start the second half. And Fairweather to inbound it. And she gets it to Rossback. Takes it into the forecourt. Out at the top of the key. To Schultz. Drives down the right side and off her foot and out of bounds. And the Vikings will have the ball. They have to chase it out of the concession stand, but they got it. Meredith inbounds it to Schleissner, who brings it down the floor for the Vikings. Starting five are in for the Vikings. Over to Bovey on the left side. To Charlo down low on the left. Back out to Bovey. Cross court pass to Steinke. Turnaround jumper by Meredith in the lane, and it's good. 43-11, Vikings on top. Fairweather bringing it down the floor. Gets it off to the right side to Rossback. Takes it between the circles. Feeds it over to the right side and into the lane to Fairweather, and it's tied up. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. It was tied up by Schleissner. Schleissner brings it down the floor for the Vikings. Stops between the circles. Feeds it over to the right side to Bovey. Bovey tries to get into the lane. The ball gets knocked away and picked up by the Hilltoppers. Hilltoppers come across the timeline. Rossback with it between the circles. Over to Schultz. Schultz takes it down the right side. Back out high to Rossback. Rossback dribbles over to the left to Elke. Elke out high to Schultz. Schultz to Mendez. Drives down the baseline. Puts it up. No good. Rebound. Tapped around and out of bounds. Off the Vikings, and Glenwood City has it. Ball comes into Mendez. Over to Elke. Elke from the baseline puts up a shot and in. Schleissner quickly across the timeline for the Vikings. To Meredith. Meredith drives down the lane, lays it up and in. 16 points for Camry Meredith. 45-13, 16-15 left in the game. Rossback with it on the left side. Gets it out to Elke, puts up a shot. It's a little bit long, chased down by Schultz. Ball gets tapped away, out of bounds, and it's going to be Glenwood City ball. Ball was tapped away by Charlo for the Vikings. So Glenwood City has it. Inbound to Rossback on the right side, takes it out to the top of the key. Dribbles over to the left side to Fairweather. Out to Mendez. Mendez drives into the lane, kicks it back out to Schultz. Schultz over to Elke, loses a handle on it, but evidently a Viking player tipped it on the way through, and it's out of bounds going to Glenwood City. Fairweather inbounds it to Schultz. Schultz back over to Fairweather. They're on the right side. Feeds it into the lane to Schultz. Tries to put it up, and the shot's blocked by Charlo. And we have an offensive foul being called against...
Yeah, we got an intentional.
An intentional offensive foul being called against Charlo.
Yeah, there was actually a little ribbing on the way down with number 50.
Yeah, Schultz went down, hit the floor.
Yeah,
that was before the foul occurred.
50 got, Micaiah Schutz got up and said a few words, and Rachel gave her a little jab in the chest there.
So Schultz is going to be shooting the intentional foul shot. Shot goes up. Off the iron, no good. Here comes her second one. It's on its way and doesn't even draw iron. So the Vikings will get the ball. No, Glenwood City will have the ball. I thought maybe since it didn't even draw iron, but
yeah, those two have had a battle down on the bottom tonight.
Inbound pass to Mendez, puts up a shot, no good. Rebound taken down by Stanky. Gets it over to Schleisner, across the timeline. Quickly down to the free throw line, gets it back out to Stanky. Long shot, and we have a whistle and a foul. Wilson with the shot, and a foul being called on Schultz after the shot. So the Vikings have the ball on the side. Wilson's shot was no good, and they say the foul came after the shot. But Schleisner has it between the circles now for the Vikings. Gets it over to Meredith. Meredith feeds it off to the right side to Bovey. Bovey puts up a shot, and she hit the three-pointer. 48-13, Vikings on top, and we have a whistle and a timeout being called by the Glenwood City Hilltoppers with 15-12 to go in the game. Vikings 48, Glenwood City Hilltoppers 13. You're listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
In addition to being your hometown newspaper, the Colfax Messenger is also your one-stop shop for all your printing needs. The Messenger provides full in-house design and full-color printing services for copies, business cards, letterheads, envelopes, pamphlets, brochures, books. They can even do posters up to 13 by 30 inches for your events or benefits. Call the Colfax Messenger at 715-265-4646 or visit dewitmedia.com.
And we're back here at Colfax High School where the Vikings have a commanding 48-13 lead over the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Rick Olson here along with Dan Petshaw. We also want to welcome those people viewing on Viking TV. And teams are coming back out on the floor now. Glenwood City has the ball. They'll be inbounding it from the near side. Fairweather gets it into Rosbach, who comes across the timeline. Guarded loosely by Steinke. Takes it into the lane, and she took an extra step. Turnover goes over to the Vikings.
Colfax keeping the defensive pressure on yet.
Schleisner with it as she comes up across the timeline. Out to Bovey, to Meredith from three, she hit it. Camry Meredith with the three-pointer, 19 points for Meredith on the night. 51-13, Vikings on top. Rosbach with it at the top of the key for the Hilltoppers, to Schultz. Gets it over to Mendez, back out to Schultz. To Elke. Elke tries to get it to Schultz, and she finally got a hold of it. Gets it to Elke, to Mendez. Mendez feeds it underneath the Fairweather, puts it up and off the glass and in. 51-15, Vikings on top. Schleisner through the center circle, over to Bovey. Out high to Steinke. To Meredith, to Schleisner on the right. At the free throw line extended. Gets it to Meredith down in the right corner. Back out high to Steinke between the circles. Steinke takes it over to the right side, gets it to Meredith at the free throw line, drives down the lane, lays it up. No, that one doesn't go for her. And Glenwood City comes down with the ball. Rosbach with it across the timeline. Feeds it over to Schultz on the right side. Tries to get into the lane to Fairweather. Ball's being fought for underneath, and we have a whistle and a jump ball being called. And again, that was Schleisner tying things up. And we have three substitutions coming in for the Vikings. Harmon, Addison, and Addie. All coming in. Addison Olsen and Addie Olsen coming in at the same time. Life gets confusing sometimes. Shot from outside the arc for Glenwood City is no good, and the ball's chased down by Addison. Gets it over to Addie. Comes down between the circles. Addie comes over to the left side, feeds it into the lane for Meredith. Back out to Seville Wilson, puts up a three, no good. Rebound being fought for underneath, and we have a jump ball being called, and possession arrows in favor of the Vikings. And Meredith to inbound the ball for the Vikings. Gets it out to Addie, to Addison at the top of the key. Feeds it into the lane to Meredith, puts it up, no good. Meredith with her own rebound, no. Ball gets tipped around, and Glenwood City comes out with it, and they try to make a pass and off of Seville Wilson's foot. And so Glenwood City has it, and Rosbach will bring it down the floor. Rosbach over to the right side to Schultz. Schultz tries to drive the baseline. We have a whistle, and we're going to have a foul, and I believe it's on Seville Wilson. She wasn't very well set, and they got Seville with the block. That's her first personal, second team foul against the Vikings. Seville comes out, Charlo back in for the Vikings. Ball gets inbounded to Elke. Elke from the lane puts it up and in. 51-17, Vikings on top. Addie with it through the center circle. Quickly all the way down into the lane. Tries to feed it over to Charlo, and Charlo loses the handle on it, goes out of bounds, and Glenwood City has the ball. Coach Doucette over there still clapping. He likes to see the effort that they're putting in. Tried the right thing, just couldn't make the connection.
Yeah, that was a good move there by Addie, and just a little low of a pass.
Schultz has it at the top of the key, feeds it into Fairweather in the lane, puts it up, and we have a whistle and a foul. Shot's no good. But Fairweather's going to go to the line shooting two. And the foul's on Marissa Harmon, third team foul against the Vikings. That's Marissa's first foul. Fairweather's first shot is up off the front of the iron, no good. Second shot is up, and it's also no good, and Vikings come down with it. Addie with it between the circles. Gets it over to Meredith. Coming down the left side. Gets it out to Marissa from the left, outside the arc. Her shot is no good. She chases down the rebound. Gets it over to Charlo on the right. Feeds it into the lane to Meredith. Turnaround jumper in the lane, no good. And the rebound comes down to the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. Fairweather gets it over to Rosbach on the right, on the right side. Rosbach feeds it over to the left side to Mendez. Mendez looking for somewhere to go, gets it out to Schultz between the circles. Schultz back over to the left side to Rosbach. Rosbach feeds it over to Elke, back to Rosbach driving down the right side of the lane, puts it up and overlays it. And the rebound is being fought for underneath, and we have a jump ball being called. Irwin and Mendez tying it up underneath there, and the possession arrows in favor of Glenwood City. 11:36 to go in the game. Inbound pass. Comes out to Rosbach, out high. She takes it between the circles. Takes it back over to the left side to Schultz. Feeds it into the lane. Fairweather with a shot, no good. Rebound goes up and off, and we have a whistle and an injured player. I believe Fairweather is down on the floor, and she's in quite a bit of pain. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a little bit of a timeout. She's grasping at her ankle, but we don't want to make any diagnoses here. We'll take a timeout as well. You're listening to Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Oh no.
If your car has had an oh no experience, whether it's from a deer, another vehicle, or any other cause, be sure to see the hardworking people at Morgan's Auto Body in Colfax. Mike Morgan and his staff are ready to get your car right again. The staff at Morgan's Auto Body are ASE and iCar certified technicians, and they can get your car looking like new. That's Morgan's Auto Body in Colfax. Call them at 715-962-3559. Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
As you check names off your holiday gift-giving list, Dairy State Bank encourages you to go local. When you support locally owned and operated businesses, every dollar you spend returns threefold to your local economy, putting your hard-earned money to work in the community you call home. So this holiday season, consider gifting locally crafted goods or an experience at a local eatery, craft beverage maker, or a performance with family and friends. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network has a special Christmas treat for our listeners. We are going to present our holiday special on Monday, December 23rd and Tuesday, December 24th. Starting at noon on each day, we'll present a triple header of Colfax Vikings games. We'll have football, girls basketball, and boys basketball with a lot of holiday music throughout. Tune your listening device to www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com to listen to our holiday special beginning at noon on December 23rd and 24th, and have a very happy holiday season.
And we're back here at Colfax High School where they're still tending to Delaney Fairweather on the floor. She came down pretty hard, and they're taking a good hard look at her right ankle leg area, and they haven't moved her at all. The head coach for Glenwood City is also her father, and the trainer for the Vikings, and looks like they're going to get her up. And they're slowly getting her at least up into a sitting position. It looks like she really rolled her ankle pretty hard. She's still in a lot of pain down there on the floor. And boy, you hate to see that. These kids, the score doesn't, it's not indicative of how hard these kids are playing. By the way, the score right now with 11:22 to go in the game, Vikings 51 and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers 17, and a good hand from the crowd for Delaney Fairweather as she heads off the floor.
Yeah, she can't put any weight on that leg yet.
And so the Vikings are heading back out on the floor, and we'll be ready to resume action here in just a minute. Glenwood City should have the ball. They had possession of the ball when Fairweather went down. And checking into the lineup is Ullum. And Glenwood City is now out on the floor, and they're going to get the ball. Ullum to inbound it. And we're ready to get things going again. And they inbound it, and the ball, well, they don't make a connection on the inbound pass. They tried to get it into Elke, and it bounced off of her, went out of bounds, and the Vikings have it as Addie brings it down through the center circle. Feeds it over to the left side to Harmon. Out high to Charlo. Charlo with a pass into the lane to Meredith, puts it up off the iron, no good. Ullum with the rebound. Gets it to Elke. Elke to Rosbach, out between the circles. Rosbach takes it over to the right side, changes direction, back out to the center circle. Now to the left side. Rosbach still with the dribble. Gets it to Elke, down into the left corner, back out to Rosbach at the free throw line. To Ullum on the right side, feeds it into the lane to Schultz, and she puts it up and in. 51-19, Vikings on top. Down the floor comes Addie for the Vikings. To Charlo, into the lane, putting it up is Marissa Harmon, and lays it off the glass and in. 53-19, Vikings on top. Mendez with it for Glenwood City, feeds it into the lane to Schultz. Schultz drives down the right side, puts it up. No good. Rebound taken down by Marissa Harmon. Harmon to Addie from three, off the back of the iron, no good. Meredith with the putback and gets it up and in. Camry Meredith with 21 points on the night. Rosbach has it between the circles for Glenwood City. Over to Ullum. She takes it out between the circles, feeds it down into the lane to Elke. Gets tapped away. She has to chase it down. Ullum with it. And we have a whistle, and Ullum took a step too many. So the Vikings will have it. Meredith to inbound the pass. And she gets it into Addison. Addison across the timeline, feeds it over to the right side to Wilson. Wilson out to Meredith at the top of the key. Meredith at the free throw line. Gets it out to Harmon. Over to Barstead to Addison. Into the lane to Meredith. Puts it up and toys with the front of the iron and then falls away. And Glenwood City brings it back down the floor. Elke with it on the left side. She tries to pass it into the lane. It's intercepted by Harmon. Quickly down the floor, but she got her pocket picked, and Glenwood City has it going back the other way. Rosbach with it. Coming through the center circle. Now takes it over to the right side. Reverses direction. Back out between the circles. She's tied up real tightly there by Harmon, and we have a timeout being called by Glenwood City. 8:42 to go in the game. Vikings 55, Glenwood City 19. You're listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
In addition to being your hometown newspaper, the Colfax Messenger is also your one-stop shop for all your printing needs. The Messenger provides full in-house design and full-color printing services for copies, business cards, letterheads, envelopes, pamphlets, brochures, books. They can even do posters up to 13 by 30 inches for your events or benefits. Call the Colfax Messenger at 715-265-4646 or visit dewitmedia.com.
And we are back here, and yes, Dan, we do have everything in that we needed to get in. Glenwood City has the ball. They inbound it. That's Rosbach to Mendez. Back to Rosbach. Feeds it over to Schultz, who gets it to Mendez. Drives the lane. Puts it up. No good. Rebound by Elke. Puts it up. No. Rebound chased down by Schultz. Feeds it over to Mendez. Mendez loses her footing, and that's a travel. Coming in for Glenwood City is Cassidy Thompson, taking the place of Mendez. Vikings inbound the ball. Addison brings it down the floor. Addison over to Harmon. Out high to Barstead. To Meredith. Meredith feeds it into the lane to Barstead. Puts it up off the glass and in. Maddie Barstead with her first 2 points of the night. 57-19, Vikings on top. Rosbach with it. Ball gets taken away by Addison. Feeds it to Harmon, who just lays it up and in. Some fast break points are always nice to get. 59-19, Vikings on top.
Good defense by number 42, Addison Olsen, on that one.
Harmon with close coverage on Rosbach, but a little too close that time. Got whistled for the foul. I believe that's Harmon's second. Yes, Harmon's second foul, fourth team foul against the Vikings.
Looks like running time now.
And Glenwood City inbounds the ball. Rosbach with it. She takes it over to the right side. Feeds it over to Strong. Strong tries to get it back out to Rosbach, but the ball gets stolen by Harmon. Over to Meredith. Gets to Barstead, puts it up off the glass, no good. Rebound tapped out of bounds, and it was knocked out of bounds by Elke, and the Vikings will maintain possession. Meredith to inbound. Gets it to Addison. Addison sends it out high to Harmon. To Meredith in the lane. Out to Addison. Addison puts up a three. No, off the iron. And it goes knocked out of bounds. Off the Vikings, and Glenwood City has possession. Pass into Strong, right back to Rosbach, and she'll bring it down the floor. 6:37 to go. Rosbach took a step too many as she tried to make the pass. And the ball goes over to the Vikings. Lots of turnovers tonight for Glenwood City.
Yeah, more pressure by Marissa Harmon to create another turnover.
And I was just going to say, that's the close defense the Vikings have been doing. And Addison tries to drive around Strong, and Strong's leg got in the way that time. So they get Strong with the block. That's her second personal, second team foul. Vikings get the ball out of bounds. 59-19, 6 minutes to go. Ball gets inbounded to Addison. She's on the left side. Feeds it out to Meredith. Puts up a three. No. Meredith chases down the rebound. Quickly over to Seville Wilson on the right. Wilson feeds it into the lane to Meredith. Meredith's shot is up, no good. Meredith gets her own rebound, lays it up off the glass and in.
Scrappy Camry Meredith to get 3 chances and get 2 points.
23 points for her for the night. Strong with it for Glenwood City. Drives into the lane. Can't get the shot to go. And the Vikings have it. Meredith brings it down the floor. Gets it over to Wilson in the forecourt. Out to Addison in the center circle. Addison over to the right side to Barstead. Out to Meredith from 3. Off the iron, no good. Barstead with the rebound. Tries to do the putback, and we have a whistle and a jump ball being called. She couldn't get the ball up, and evidently the Glenwood City girl just had all ball that time. Possession arrow in the favor of the Vikings. Addison to inbound to Meredith. Tries to put it up, and we have a whistle and a foul.
Good little quick pass by Addison Olsen to get it to Meredith for free throws here.
Her shot was no good, so she's at the line for 2. First one's on the way, and it's good. A few substitutions happening. Meredith's second shot is on the way and good. 63-19, Vikings on top. Down the floor comes Glenwood City. Pass was intended for Strong, gets knocked out of bounds by Barstead. Got 4 minutes to go in this game. They're looking for somewhere to go with it. Finally, they get it inbound to Strong. And Jana Bovey, or check that, that's Jillian Bovey in there now. Tries to steal the pass, and it rolls off her leg and out of bounds. So Glenwood City maintains possession. Ross back to try to inbound it. She does get it in, and now it's being scrapped for on the floor. We have a jump ball being called. Possession arrow in favor of Glenwood City.
I don't think I've seen this many jump balls in a game.
No, I don't either. All right, Rossback still looking to inbound it. Finally, they get it in, but it's to Meredith. Meredith gets it to Bailey Bradford, and got knocked out of bounds. Inbound pass by the Vikings to Meredith. Meredith puts it up and in. And we're going to stop the game because Camry Meredith has just scored her 1,000th point in her high school career. 1,000 points for Camry Meredith, and she's being hugged by all of her teammates. That's quite a milestone, Dan.
It is. It is a big milestone for any player.
That's why she's been in the game. That's a pretty prestigious list of players throughout Viking history to get that. And that's the reason Meredith was in the game as late as she was. 27 points for her tonight, 1,000 points for her career with the Vikings. And she takes a seat on the bench now.
We made history tonight.
Well,
for her.
At least Camry did. 65-19, Vikings on top. 2:52 to go in the game. Glenwood City with the ball. And they inbound it. Rosbach brings it down. Feeds it to Schultz. Then over to Elke, who overlays it quickly down the floor to Bovey, and we have a whistle and a foul. Jillian Bovey going to go to the line for the Vikings. The foul was on Rosbach. It's only her first, fourth team foul against Glenwood City. Jillian's first shot is up and it's good. And Jillian's second shot is just a little bit short, did not quite draw iron, so Glenwood City gets the ball out of bounds. Down the floor comes Rosbach, feeds into the lane to Schultz. Schultz drives down, puts it up and in. 66-21, 1:48 to go in the game. Bovey across the timeline. Feeds it over to Barstead. Or check that's Best who's in there. Feeds it back out to Bovey. And tries to get it to Best in the lane, and it gets knocked out of bounds. Jasmine Best to inbound it for the Vikings. She gets it over to Jillian Bovey. Back over to, this time it's up and in. Abby Irwin with the shot. 68-21. Glenwood City with it in the forecourt. And the ball gets knocked away. And here comes Jillian Bovey. Feeds it over to Irwin. Irwin puts it up and in. That's 4 points for Abby Irwin. We're under a minute to go. Strong with it. From the free throw line, no good. And it goes out of bounds. Vikings ball. Bradford to inbound it for the Vikings. Gets it to Bovey, 40 seconds left. She comes across the timeline. Feeds it out to Paulus. Over to Bradford, to Paulus. Out to Best. To Bradford. Out to Bovey, to Paulus. And they're just going to run the clock, about 10 seconds left. To Bradford, to Paulus. To Irwin. And to Bovey, and she just holds it, and there's the horn. And our final score, Colfax Vikings 70, and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers 21. And we will have Viking postgame coming up in just a few moments. And you're listening to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You've been listening to Colfax Viking Basketball, live on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network in conjunction with Colfax High School. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame with a look back at today's game.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What, did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Time now for Viking postgame, with a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking girls game. And now, Viking postgame.
Well, final score in this one, Vikings 70, Glenwood City Hilltoppers 21. And fans, we want to remind you that Colfax Viking basketball is brought to you by Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. The Colfax Animal Hospital, trust your pets to Dr. Buckley and his staff. Morgan's Auto Body, where after an oh-no moment, they can make your car right again. Colfax Messenger, for over 120 years, keeping you informed about what's happening in the Colfax area. And Colfax Hometown Pharmacy, their family caring for your family, and Kyle's Market, where customer service is supersized. Be sure to thank those sponsors of Colfax Viking basketball here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. And don't forget that the Viking girls will travel to Hayward to take on the Hayward Hurricanes on Monday, December 16th. JV begins at 5:45, varsity at 7:15. We're not going to be at that game. But then on Thursday, December 19th, the Viking girls are going to host the Mondovi Buffaloes right here. JV at 5:45, varsity at 7:15. We will be bringing you all the varsity action of that game right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. And let's not forget the boys. The next Viking boys basketball game will be on Tuesday when the Vikings host the Thorpe Cardinals, and I hear that that's supposed to be a really good one, Dan.
Yeah, that will be a good one.
JV starts at 5:45, varsities at 7:15, and we will have all that varsity action of that game right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. And we've got Coach Doucette coming over, and he's going to be talking with us for just a moment here. And Coach, 70-21, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. You know, we got nothing but respect for Coach Dean and his program, and you know, we didn't want to beat him bad, but you know, we're trying to get better. We're trying to get better, and you know, I was very impressed. I think at halftime we had 2 turnovers and moved the ball well. And
it turned out to be one of those games where no matter what you tried, it worked. And sometimes you have games like that, and it's not like you're trying to run up a score on anybody. No. You're trying things. You're trying to learn. You're trying to get the kids to learn what they're doing, and it's all working.
Yeah, we're getting on some of our younger kids because they're not playing hard enough, and then you know, you can't get them to back off. So, you know, a lot of things went our way. I think they're going to win some games. I like a couple kids. I hope, you know, Dean's daughter isn't hurt too bad. It didn't look good. But, yeah, I was excited, and the way we moved the ball. And, again, we're pretty good when we score inside and make some threes, get to the free throw line, and we're able to do all 3 things today.
And that was really and you did get a lot of your younger kids in, got some good playing time, and that's going to pay off in the long run.
You know, Camry probably, you know, we wanted to get her that at home, and we really tried hard to get that. You know, thought that yes, you know, Camry's one of the best kids we've ever coached. She always defends and rebounds. Rick, you've watched her for years, and very unselfish kid, and it's come by working hard. So we're proud of her. That's a great milestone, and especially in our program where, you know, we just don't you know, it's all about team, but every once in a while you get one of them that come along. We're very proud of Camry, and she's been a stellar kid in our program, and we love her to death.
And she joins quite a crew, because I remember mentioning to Dan right after she got her 1,000th point that that's a pretty illustrious crew.
Yeah.
You know a couple of those girls really, really well.
Yeah, I do.
But she's in with a pretty good bunch of kids there.
For sure.
So she ought to be really proud of that. The other thing that I was really glad to see tonight is Morgan was back.
Yeah.
And she played hard. I have a very good friend who has referred to Morgan as the Chihuahua of the team, somebody that's not aware of their size and yet plays with all kinds of tenacity and just won't back down to anybody.
No.
And that's the way Morgan plays the game.
Yeah, she's a wonderful kid and someone we really need. I think she's one of the best defenders, you know, in the area for her size, and she just gives us that grit and just exactly what we need. So just great to have her back also.
And there was a little scare earlier with Taylor Irwin, but she seems to be okay and played a pretty good game tonight. So a lot of things to be pretty happy about. Hayward coming up on Monday. We're not going to be there, but boy,
Yeah.
oh boy, that ought to be an interesting one.
Yeah, great program, great coach. Hayward's been one of the best teams in northern Wisconsin for many, many years. So they've beaten us many times, and we've beaten them. It's been a great rivalry, and we're going to go in there and really battle and see if we can take it to them one time.
Be nice to see a lot of red up in that Hayward gym backing the Vikings on Monday night.
I'd love to see it too, Rick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, congratulations,
Yep,
Coach.
thanks.
71 to, I had it written down here somewhere. 70 to 21. I knew there was a 1 in there somewhere. Thank you, Coach Doucette. And we'll be back. We'll be back with some final thoughts right after this brief timeout. You're listening to Viking Network on the Northern Lights.
Open calendar. What's my schedule looking like?
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an emergency flash flood between Park and First Street.
What? No, that doesn't work. I'm busy then. Decline. Decline.
Floods don't exactly work around your schedule. Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. It starts with talking to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. So don't wait, communicate. Visit readywisconsin.wi.gov. Brought to you by Ready Wisconsin, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
And we're back here at Colfax High School. Dan, 70 to 21. Why don't you give us the breakdown of those numbers?
Yeah, here's the leading scorers for Colfax Vikings tonight. Cameron Meredith, number 14, she led the team with 28 points. Rachel Charlo, number 44, she had 9. Taylor Irwin had 5, and a host of others had 4, 3. So it was a big team effort for Colfax. Glenwood City's leading scorer tonight was number 5, Maddie Elke with 9 points. Makaya Schutz had 8. And Delaney Fayweather had 2. Yasmin Mendez had 1. Maddie and Isabel Rosbeck, she had 1 point. So 70 to 21 for the score tonight.
Pretty lopsided. Let's, again, as Coach mentioned, let's hope Delaney Fairweather, that her ankle isn't too bad. Lots of times when there's a lot of pain right away, what I've seen is sometimes that's not as bad an injury as the ones that don't hurt right away that sneak up on you. So maybe she's going to get lucky that way, and she's got some time to put her feet up, and hopefully things will be okay for her, and she'll be able to play some more yet this year. But 70 to 21, big win for the Vikings, a big milestone for Cameron Meredith with her 1,000th point. Pretty good night for the Vikings.
Yeah, they had played great defense, created a bunch of turnovers, and hit important shots when they needed them.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan, we're going to be back here on Tuesday when we have the boys taking on the Thorpe Cardinals. That ought to be a lot of fun. And then Thursday of next week, we've got the girls in here against the Mondovi Buffaloes. That ought to also be, Mondovi's been strong for years in the Dunn St. Croix, and so that ought to be an interesting one as well. So for Dan Petchow, this is Rick Olson. Final score once again, Vikings 70, Glenwood City Hilltoppers 21. You've been listening to Viking Postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Visit readywisconsin.wi.gov and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by Ready Wisconsin, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking girls game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Northern Light Webcasting Network is proud to present Colfax Viking basketball for the 2019-2020 season. Join us Tuesday, December 17th as the Viking boys host the Thorpe Cardinals. Viking pregame begins at 7 o'clock, and live play-by-play begins at 7:10, right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.